Hello there, Trevor here from Double Bill Movies. Right, well, I've just finished watching a horror film that I hadn't seen before. I know I'm a bit late to the game with this one, but it was Smile. Um, well, what can I say? I had to do a review straight away. I was really impressed with the film. What a different concept. What a sort of a unique way of making a horror film. Yes, there's elements of the Final Destination series in it, but you know, you're never going to completely escape different horror films and all the different tropes that are put in. There's some really good scenes. There's some really creepy parts. There's some gory parts, and you know, there's some pretty sort of traumatic parts. Now, the main thing I found about this film was it's basically, it was kind of screaming out to me that people don't listen. When people have problems, and you know, the first patient that comes in with this smiling situation, she's trying to describe what's going on, and she's trying to say it's not crazy, it's not me being crazy, it's not what you think, and the doctor is trying to do her job and say, well, no, you're tired, it's this and this, that and the other, and the patient keeps going, no, you're not listening to me. How many times throughout the story does this happen? It happens a lot, and to me that was the underlying message of you know, we don't listen, or we think we know why, and we're not always prepared to sit and actually listen and think, okay, well, this sounds really strange, but I'm not going to let them know that I think that, because to them it might be completely real. And there's been, you know, many a time where I'm sure this situation has happened. Not the whole sort of conclusion that happens in the film, but just the situations where someone's trying to reach out and the person they're talking to is just kind of going, oh, get over it, or you know, oh, you'll be okay, don't worry, just rest, go to bed or something. And we don't always have the answers, and it depends if we're the one being made to listen. It depends on what's going on in our lives, what our situation is right at the time. Are we in the correct sort of mood to deal with this kind of reaching out? And not always, definitely not always, but yeah, the film had everything in it. The picture was nice and clean. I noticed sort of a grain structure. Now, whether I don't actually know if it was shot on film. It may not have been, but even if it wasn't, it does appear to me that they added some grain in, or, as I suspect, our own vision creates grain in certain circumstances, and maybe it doesn't have to be celluloid film to pick up on this. Maybe even, you know, digital cameras do the same thing in certain circumstances. But regardless, the picture was nice. It wasn't over contrasty. I know I'm watching it on a projector and I do not get the deep blacks that you guys with your OLEDs will. But you know, I've seen films like Lucy with Scarlett Johansson that is very contrasty, and it looked way more contrasty than I expected it to on my screen. Anyway, one of my favorite things about movies is sound. It's probably the most important aspect of a film, unless obviously it's a silent movie, then you don't need the sound. But if you don't get the sound right, your brain can sort of pick up on, well, hang on, that didn't sound right. That was meant to be over there, but it was over there. And this is not my training sort of coming in. This is just my, I've been into sound for all my life basically. And, but every time the camera changed angle, the sound changed with it. So if someone opened a door and it changed angle part of the way through, then the sound changed as well, and it was in the correct place. So if we were looking at the door, and then we're looking back at the character looking at the door, then the sound was behind, and that kind of thing. One of the most amazing sound parts I heard in the film. Now this is getting really geeky now. I actually rewound the film to listen to this again. So our lead character, Dr. Carter, I think her name is, she was driving somewhere, and the camera comes down from above and through the trees. Now I've never thought of anyone do this before, but the sound design has basically put sounds of the camera brushing past the leaves and the branches on the trees, and that doesn't really have to be part of the plot, but it just goes to show the detail, the sound design, the lengths they went to create the sound field for this film. And yeah, I had to rewind it because I was like, wow, that's a really different thing. It doesn't matter in other films when they do that and you don't get that. That's fine. It doesn't have to do that. It's not meant to be, you know, a camera, is it? It's just a way of showing you something. But the fact they incorporated us moving past the trees, and you know, I could almost feel it brushing past me. That was brilliant. But so the lead character, Dr. Carter, she witnesses this patient that comes into her. It's not a long time patient, it's the first time she's ever seen this woman. And so of course that starts off this scenario throughout the whole film. And the more the doctor investigates it, the more she finds out and understands. But of course we're first shown her as a 10-year-old girl, witnessing the death of her mother, and then we find out at the end of the film what actually happened. So we find out that she's been carrying this trauma all through her childhood and adult life, and she needs to deal with it. So I guess this what makes her susceptible to this smile syndrome, whatever you want to call it. And I'm trying not to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but I'm hoping that you're not too scared to give it a try. So this is obviously the HMV exclusive. I can't believe I haven't taken off this sticker yet. But when you load the disc, that's without the red smile. That is basically the main menu. This is the first patient basically, and yes, this slightly evil smile that she has on her face and the scars across her nose. Yeah, it's quite unsettling, but it's a brilliant film. I think the scene at the birthday party where the young lad opens his present, I knew that something was going to be wrong with the present, even though we see Dr. Carter buy it for her nephew, but I didn't know what was going to be wrong, and yeah, should have seen it coming really, because it's rather set up for you. But yeah, it's there's so many aspects of this movie that encompass all kinds of horror, and yeah, sort of creepy monsters, gore, psychological, I suppose maybe a bit paranormal, and yeah, to me a very strong message of we need to try and be more open to what's going on around us. We need to try and be better listeners. I'm not saying any of you don't listen to people, but it just seems to me that's all I got as a message. Apart from watching a great film, I just got this message of, yeah, no matter how absurd certain situations might be, we may have to sort of listen to them and, okay, put yourself in the situation that the person is describing to you, and see how it might make you feel, and you know, just be open, be understanding. I'm sure most of you are. I'm sure you all are. Who am I to sit and tell you these things? But that's the message I got from the film. It's a fantastic horror film. It's very well directed. It's very well shot. There's some lovely camera work, lovely sort of set scenes, and you know, the color palette and everything. It's got a cold color palette to it, and that really, to me, helps lend to what's going on. I mean, it does appear to be autumn, so yeah, that needs to depict that. You don't want it all sunny and warm when it's supposed to be cold, but yeah, just a brilliant film. I think I'd give it 9 out of 10, maybe even a 10 out of 10. I'll decide in a minute. But yeah, I just wanted to come on and do this review now. It may not go onto YouTube the same night that I have watched it, but that doesn't matter. I just wanted to get my fresh thoughts and views onto camera. So anyway, let me know if you've seen Smile. Let me know what you thought of it. I do think it's quite divided as to some of you really loved it and some of you just didn't really like it, and that's fair enough. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, because the thumbs up is what helps these videos, what helps us YouTubers get our videos out there. Subscriptions are great, so please subscribe, but it's the thumbs up to help us more. And you know, that's understandable. If people subscribe to you but don't watch your content, why is YouTube going to want to push it out there for people to see? Only if people are liking it and going, yes, this is a worthwhile video, will they then, you know, make the effort to push it out to other viewers. If you do subscribe, make sure you set your notifications to all, and that way you won't miss any of my videos. So yeah, that's the film Smile. Great horror film, and actually next time I watch it, I'm actually going to turn it up even louder, because yeah, I think I had it slightly too quiet. But yeah, just keep an eye out for that going through the trees, and just tell me whether you can hear the branches and leaves and everything as the camera goes past them. Especially if you have a sound bar or just stereo speakers. Does it really come out? Do you notice it? I don't know. I've got a surround sound system, so I was fully surrounded by the movie. Anyway, till the next video, take it easy.